the beauty in you. I see the power in you. I see the greatness in you. And so it is. I see the child in you. I see the sweetness in you. I see the softness in you. And so it is. I can see it. It's right there before me. I can feel it deep in my soul. I just know it, that you are an angel full of magic and power and pure sweet love. I see the goodness in you. I see the wisdom in you. I see the strength that's in you. And so it is. I see the joy in you. I see that light shining through. I see the love that's in you. And so it is. I can see it. It's right there before me. I can feel it deep in my soul. I just know it, that you are an angel full of presence and power and pure sweet love. I see the grace that's in you. I see the courage in you. I see the heart that's in you. And so it is. I see the beauty in you. I see the power in you. I see the greatness in you. And so it is. 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 Happy Sunday.
Well, that's a perfect song for today, as the topic is, I see the beauty in all broken things. And it's the theme for September called Pieces into Peace. Pieces, P-I-E-C-E-S, into peace, P-E-A-C-E. So welcome everybody to Center for Spiritual Living Morristown. Those of you who are here in person, I noticed the kind of weekend where you just want to stay in your pajamas all day, not go anywhere. But those of you who are here, we're so grateful. And those of you that are here online, whether it is right now or anytime in the future, we're grateful that we get to be together this morning. So Susan Mead is our assisting practitioner. Susan is licensed at Center for Spiritual Living Princeton, and she has to skedaddle after her celebration, and so Lori Carlson has offered to do the Treatment Express for anyone who would like to have a quickie spiritual mind treatment, just so you can have a taste of what it's like to have an entire session, and that can be with any practitioner anywhere, and that of course includes Reverend Janice and myself. And so the topic, the beauty of all broken things, is an opportunity to look at where we feel or perceive ourselves as broken, and how we can shift that perception, and when we see it in a different light from the soul's perspective, becomes a portal to our awakening. And how does that happen? How can that happen? What I do know is that when that happens, we arrive at the beauty of all things, like your song, which is so perfect. So we have social hour as well today. We're really blessed that Lynn Forrest and Jean Lee are making sure that we get something to eat and have some coffee and tea and all that afterwards. So we're grateful for them. And of course, all our volunteers. So let's do our Namaste practice, which is where we put our hands together and we bless the divinity in another and receive their blessing as well by saying Namaste. Yes,
It's a day when you can do everything.
it's a day where we can do everybody. Let's treat our word for affirmative prayer. So I invite you to close your eyes and just for a moment withdraw your attention from the outer world and arrive at that place of the remembrance of the heart of hearts within us. That remembrance which often turns into deep longing for the more, for the greater, for the deeper, for the richer, for the lovelier, for the more beautiful. And a desire alone, that longing alone, is a fulfillment in itself, because the fact that we can think it up and feel it as a desire means that it's already available to us, within us. And the more we let go of any ideas that it's not or it's not enough, the more we tune into that enoughness that is already an experience at a deep soul and spiritual level. And so today we're grateful for remembering, and we get to remember it together, because when we come together as a spiritual community, something holy happens. Because together we support one another and remind one another that in the uniqueness of our experience as individualized expressions of the one, there is a healing going on that adds to the collective and allows us to hold a vision for a world that works for everyone. So how could we not be grateful for this breath, this heartbeat, this day, this room, this space, this time together, this teaching, and this spiritual community, and Centers for Spiritual Living at large. So that we are, and so it is.
So it is.
So I want to make sure everybody has a little card, because and a pen. We're going to do a little practice with that in a moment. So the quote by Terry Tempest Williams says, "I believe in the beauty." Here you go. "I believe in the beauty of all things." When you hear that quote, "I believe in the beauty of all things," how does that feel? What comes into your mind when you hear that? I believe in the beauty of all things.
It's very freeing.
It's very freeing.
Unity.
Unity.
The ability to look beyond into the true beauty within.
The ability to look beyond into the true beauty within. Yeah, there's a feeling that gets invoked or evoked when we say, I believe in the beauty of all things broken. It's a very powerful spiritual truth that we don't always see or feel, right? So we're going to do a little practice where you need your card and a pen, and on the side that has the lines, this is very personal. It's not about the world. Susan is going to do that one. It's very personal, it's very private, it's very intimate between you and you. And you're not going to be sharing it unless you want to. But I want you to write on this side a moment that you remember or that you called a moment of fracture in your life. You can start with recent, or you can start with the earliest memory you have, or anything in between. So it could be a health crisis, it could be a relationship ending, it could be abuse, it could be a hurt, it could be a way that you were wronged or not seen or not heard, it could be anything. So start with closing your eyes for a moment and putting your hand on your heart, because you're going to surround this experience with deep gentleness, and we're going to experience this phrase that says, I believe in the beauty of all things broken. And we're going to experience a transformation, a healing around that. So just close your eyes, feel your hand on your heart, and allow a moment or an experience to come to you where there was a shift, a fracture, a moment of feeling like there was brokenness. And some of you might need to think a bit, some of you might come to mind immediately. It could be one thing, it could be more than one. And then just write them on that piece of paper. You have one? Okay. You need a pen. There's pens going around. Don't overthink it. Go with your gut. Go with your feeling. Because sometimes when we overthink it, we say, that really wasn't nothing. Or, I healed that one, or it doesn't bother me anymore. But if it comes to mind, give it a note on your piece of paper. Just a moment when you remember a sense of separation, brokenness. I clearly remember when I was a little girl that I found a worm and I ran in the house and I was so excited and I showed it to my mom and she screamed. And I realized that something cracked inside of my spirit, inside of me, not my spirit, myself. And it wasn't a huge thing, it wasn't deeply traumatic, but I noticed it. The other day, I simply picked up a bag and I hurt my back. Oh, I was so frustrated and annoyed. So that would be something I would write down. An unexpected physical thing, right? Okay, so while you're listening, you're welcome to write some other things down, and we're going to work with the other side of it. We're going to move through this today. Because this is about an experience. What you're writing down is an experience. I want you to write that on top. Fracture experience, a brokenness experience, but use the word experience. Because there's a reason for that. So does everybody have something? Is there anybody who doesn't have anything? Look around. Anybody who doesn't have anything by show of hands? That is telling. Why do you think it's telling that everybody wrote something down?
Because everybody has a place where they were broken.
Everybody has a place where they experienced a fracture, a sense of brokenness.
And we are not alone.
And we are not alone. It is simply a part of being in a physical body, of having a human experience. What if it is for you and not against you? Because in the world, in the collective consciousness, in the world where people don't have a spiritual life, a spiritual connection, the human self, the ego self, turns that into a victim experience, into a bad thing, into something wrong, into something to fix, maybe into something for people to understand and be patient around or compassionate around. But in the spiritual life, this is something that we say, oh, this happened for me, it happened for my growth, and it happened for my evolution. That is a very spiritual point of view. That is not so much the ego, human point of view, because it tends to look at life as I'm a victim. But from a spiritual perspective, it's like, I'm spirit, and this is for my growth and for my evolution. It is actually something that I can flow with and dance with and move with, instead of fight, resist, try to have people understand, try to fix, try to heal, try to avoid, because that's a really big one, right? This thing of, avoiding, not talk about it, deny it, right? The stuff that we do with that creates a whole snowball effect of self-torment, torture, victimhood, and more experiences, because we know that what we think and what we believe must become our experience, because our consciousness doesn't separate any other way. And so I want you to think about, and this you don't have to shout out loud, but I want you to think about what it is that you've been telling yourself about what you wrote down. Because a lot of times what we tell ourselves is, oh, poor me, or, oh, something bad happened, something wrong happened, this works against me, right? Those are some of the things we say. What are some of the other things that we say to ourselves about the things that happened?
It's my fault.
It's my fault. Sometimes in spiritual life, we turn it against ourselves, right?
It's their fault.
It's their fault. What are some of the things that you tell yourself about what you just wrote down?
I'm less than. I
I'm
can't
less
fix
than.
it.
I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. Something must be wrong with me.
Set up a pattern.
Yeah, that was the beginning of things going wrong, see? Right? So it's important to be aware of that.
I don't see it that way.
Well, you don't have to.
Okay, I mean, for me, these are pretty crappy things that happen. But I mean, looking at them now, thank God they happen.
Exactly. That's what my talk is about. You can leave now. Or actually, you can come and do the talk.
No, that's okay.
Exactly.
Carry on.
But Mark, I love that you're saying that because I know that is not true for all of us. And I would say that many of you have said, because you're on the spiritual path, because you're evolved, that you've said like, oh, you know what? I'm so glad those things happened. I am with you as well, Mark. I'm so glad those things happened because look what I learned. Look what they taught me. So when I hurt my back on Thursday, I was pissed off for a full day, just angry and frustrated. How could it happen? It hasn't happened in a decade. All I did was bend down and pick up a bag, right? It's like, and then Norman said, stop, you know this teaching. I'm like, I just need to vent for a while and then I'll be all right. So then yesterday, I was really just blessing my body and blessing how easily it restores itself and blessing how it heals and listening for the messages, because when we begin to listen to the messages about things that we think went wrong, we begin to hear some very powerful wisdom. We begin to hear some things that we needed to hear. For me, it was about being more mindful, most of all, to move more mindfully. But it also had to do with how I had this tiny belief I didn't even realize I had. And things have been really, really, really great for me, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, relationally, financially, every way. And there was a little voice inside of me that said, when is the shit gonna hit the fan? Ever have that one?
Yeah.
Right? So it was tiny. I wouldn't have heard it if I had not meditated, if I hadn't really listened to my body, if I hadn't tuned in. But I heard it was still there a little bit. So immediately, prayer partners on board to do some treatment work around that, because I realized it was okay. It's okay. And then my body began to shift and it's already feeling a lot better. So we can use anything and everything in our life experiences to say, wow, yes, this too is beautiful. This too was good. This too was for me. This too was for my growth and my evolution. So the key then is, how do we perceive our experiences? How do we translate them? What do we believe about them? What do we say about it? And the interesting thing is that the collective consciousness in general presses in on us to not listen, to not go deeper, to not explore, to not turn it into part of our spiritual growth and spiritual evolution. So it requires a little shift on our part. And that means that we have to sit and wait sometimes. But the sitting and the waiting is very powerful. It's very, very rich. It's creating space between our experience and our beliefs, our thoughts, our feelings, our interpretation, long enough until spiritual truth is revealed. And sometimes that revelation can be in a song, sometimes that revelation can be in a book you're reading, or an other experience you're having, or a spiritual practice, or somebody treating for you. But it's about realizing, having real eyes, capital R-E-A-L, looking through real eyes for the truth. So giving it space then gives it space to just hang out there a bit and arrive at that place of saying, I too believe in the beauty of all things broken. I too believe in the beauty of all things broken. All things? All things? I get to ask myself, really all things? Or all things except this one? Or that one? And this and that becomes incredibly powerful grist for the mill. It becomes incredible, powerful fodder for healing. So, how then can we arrive at such a belief? How do we arrive at the belief that even the things that you wrote down on the side with the lines on it can be seen from a different perspective? What are some of the things that we do?
Get to a place where you can hear your inner voice.
Yeah, get to a place where you can hear your inner voice.
Sit with it.
Sit with it. Just sit with it. Not fight it. Just feel it. Just be with it. What else?
Change
Any
the
of our
story.
spiritual practices.
Any of our spiritual practices.
Change the story.
Change the story.
No,
Change
it's not
the
the
story.
truth.
It's not the truth. So, the other side with no lines. Turn your page over. Put on the top, I'm already whole. W-H-O-L-E. I'm already whole. So the other side was about your experience. This side is about the truth. This side is about the truth. What is the truth?
I'm already whole.
I'm already whole. That's the truth. Spiritual life is about moving through this experience of a human life and saying, I don't quite believe I'm whole over here, or over there, or in this, or in that. We have to uncover those limiting beliefs, because if we don't uncover them, they will run the show. We'll keep proving the belief that says, well, maybe, but not so much here. And so we want to make them conscious, infusing them with patience and peace and harmony and love and compassion. The word whole and the word healed has the same root. In our teaching, healed doesn't mean cured. Healed means that inherently, each and every one of us are whole, perfect, and complete exactly the way we are. And we've been given this life to reveal that, to realize that. Not from a place of, I haven't done it right, it's not enough yet, I'll never get there. Just keep being with that, keep practicing that, keep knowing that, keep seeing that, keep affirming that, keep treating for that. Keep arriving at that. Sit long enough until you go, oh, right. At my inherent true nature, I'm already whole. That's my essence. So look at the side with the lines. Pick one, circle it. Flip it over to the side with the no lines and tell the truth about it. So one side, my back is hurting. I hurt my back picking up a damn bag from the floor. What's the truth about it? God knows exactly how to heal my body, and I trust that. My body is whole, perfect, and complete, and I trust that. Right? So you might have something in there about a broken relationship. And so on the side of wholeness is that my relationship with God, Spirit, whatever you call it, and myself is wholly intact. And it's delicious and deep and rich and intimate. But use your own words. So that the spiritual practice doesn't deny where we feel broken, where we experience brokenness. I mean, just look at the news, right? And that's where Susan is going to take us, to the idea of the bigger structures around us, right? We don't deny it, although when we practice an absolute kind of metaphysics, you would, right? But we don't, I don't, maybe you do, that's okay, it's your path, right? But we notice it, we name it, we look at it, we have compassion around it, we love ourselves through it, and then we say, but let me go back to the truth.
Do I have 30 seconds to do this? Just 30 seconds of quiet?
Yeah,
Okay.
so take a moment, write down the truth. So my invitation to you is to do this every day, or maybe once a week, for some of you that are a little less in need or resistant. And do you know that if you and when you forget, there are thousands of licensed practitioners in CSL that are happy to help you. Reach out to them. There's the World Ministry of Prayer. There's Lori, there's Susan, there's Frankie, there's Janice, there's Gail. And if you're stuck today, come over to me and I will happily help you find the perfect right affirmation. And listen to Rhonda singing, because she's going to sing it into you as well. Right? So this is something that we can practice all the time. That's what I do every day when I'm journaling. So the page in half on one side, it's this blah, 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 blah. This is what's going on. And on the other side, what's the truth here? And then it's to treat and to meditate, right? So we use the card. Now you have two sides. So you can be on the experience side with anything that's on the card or anything new. You might want to keep adding things you remember. Or you could be on the other side. It's a choice. You and I get to choose. Do I honor my brokenness? I can, but I don't stop there. Can I have more love and compassion for myself around it? Of course I can, but I don't have to stay stuck there. Because the stuckness is just fear in all its many forms. And we must remember to have a really deep tenderness and compassion with ourselves. Because I don't know about you, but when somebody beats up on me and with my flaws, it doesn't quite help. And it surely doesn't help when we do it to ourselves, right? And then we have to do our practices. We have to practice our faith. When I was done with a day of bitching and moaning and groaning and being frustrated because I hurt my back, because it had been 10 years since it happened and I thought it would never happen again, I was like, all right, Frankie, what do you really believe? Or are you a hypocrite? What do you practice? What is your faith? How can I practice that here and now? And it made me lie down on the floor, or lay down, I never know that verb, lay down on the floor and just say, okay, I know that spirit in me knows what it's doing by means of my body. I trust and surrender to the healing that is taking place. We can do whatever works for us, right? And then we have to just realize that there's something we forgot about our inherent wholeness. And the reason we're having that experience is because we are remembering, or we are ready to remember. And then we just hang out there. Just hang out there until we feel that shift. So, most of you know by now that I'm doing a book discussion exploration with this book called The Grace in Aging by Kathleen Darling Singh. Some of you are in it. And we are starting meeting 5 on Wednesday of 6. Anybody can still join us at any time. It's Wednesday night, 6:30 to 8 on Zoom. And the chapter we read last week, I want to read from that because it really speaks to, and inspired me today, speaks to what we're talking about and exploring. It says, applying what we learn in practice, through practice, is to make intelligent use of whatever insight and mindfulness we develop in our daily sitting. When we extrapolate the implications of those insights, gleaned from prayer or meditation or any awakening practice in our daily lives, we create the space for deeper insight, increased mindfulness, and less sleepwalking. Staying mindful of the breath or chosen word helps to keep us from forgetting what we have been blessed to realize. It keeps us in remembrance. Unused insights, unused gifts of spirit and spiritual practice dissipate. They slip out of our grasp. They're often elusive, subtle flashes to begin with. Applying them clarifies them and allows us to embody our realizations. Applying them, we strengthen the imprints of the original insight, keeping it fresh and alive, a living experience rather than a memory. Applying them, we create new neural pathways, new habits. We clear the space for more gifts of spiritual practice when we embody the last gifts and let them flow out through us, sharing them with a generous heart. And the last short paragraph, we begin to weave together the separation we've mentally created between the spiritual and the worldly. It opens up more rooms in our interior castle. It carries the Sabbath through the week. We find our life becoming a bit more seamless, a bit less fractured as we begin to abide in wholeness. Isn't that perfect? All right, so now we're going to have Rhonda sing some more for us, and then we will have our beautiful Susan sharing a practice, taking it even deeper.
When I forget
Thank you, Rhonda. Isn't it wonderful to have this practice? What we're really looking for is freedom, and there is freedom. Oh, and peace and joy. So as it is whenever I'm POD, I sit for a while when Reverend Frankie contacts me with what it's all about. And I listen for a while, and something always just pops up. So I type and I type and I type, and let's see, I tell you guys it's my gobbledygook. So I was thinking about broken, and where do I, Susan, the practitioner, tend to be judgmental? And that is in the world of systems, broken systems. Now, if we believe in the beauty of brokenness, we know that that's our soul's journey to learn, to grow, and that urges us. I will admit that I struggle sometimes with things like the education system. That's why I ended up being a Rudolf Steiner teacher. I struggle with the medical system. I tend to be alternative. But you see, oh, what about the political system? Just saying. Don't we tend to pick a side?
Yeah.
So, we don't want to be a part of the problem. We want to be part of the healing of the problem, or of the situation that appears to be a problem. And so, as it is, Joel Goldsmith calls it self-righteousness. Now, we can tend to be self-righteous, like I know which is the best candidate for presidency. I know. But Joel Goldsmith says, no, it's the self-right-useness of your thoughts and words.
Yes.
So is it right-useness of my thoughts and words to say, I don't want that presidential candidate, that presidential candidate will create this and this and this, and that presidential candidate is rude and blah, 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 blah. No, because judge not lest we be judged. It is done to us as we believe. So it just ends up that I participate in this thing called Conversations in Christ with some wonderful practitioners in our teaching. And every month you get this juicy, juicy thing to read. And I brought it to share with you that you can pick it up at the end. And it's called The Problem with Politics. So we're going to use that as an example of system that we can believe is broken. And people can say the two-party system doesn't work. People can say, you may let it be the vote count, not the territory thingy. I always forget what it's called. What's it called?
The electoral.
Thank you, the electoral. Yeah, those. So I'm reading this, and it basically is saying, if you believe that if your candidate doesn't win, the world's going to go to heck in a handbag, it probably will, because it is done to you as you believe. And that's not being part of the healing process, that's being part of the problem. But I know right now, because I see it everywhere, I see it on Instagram, I see it on Facebook, I go out to coffee with friends, you can't help to have it come up. There's fear going on right now. So in this beautiful handout that I'm going to give you, there's wonderful practices for healing in this area of systems or anything. And I'm going to share one of these practices with you right now, because we want to be part of the global healing. We don't want to be part of the problem. At any time we let our consciousness go into this place of belief, of good or bad, right party, wrong party, we are part of the problem. So I'm going to invite you, as we do, to sit now and find that space, that quiet space within. Close your eyes if it's available to you. And we always start with the breath, because the breath is God in action, God in expression within us. So I invite you to be with that wonderful, life-giving breath. And as you experience that breath going through your body, we recognize that we are all breathing together, one breath. So remember that we are one. And we also remember that we are whole. And we also remember that God is everywhere. There's not a spot. The word omnipresent means omnipresent. So God is in every system, every structure, everything in this world and beyond. So we just hold that space of knowing God is. Therefore, we are. And we are in unison with this beloved Spirit, this beloved divine self, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it quantum field, some people call it high vibration. Just be with that sense as that breath propels you to this place of peace. And as you sit in this place of peace, of recognition of truth, I'm going to read some words in the first person, and I want you to just bring them in and breathe them in as your own. God, I am. Spirit, I am. The divine, I am. That I am. We are. We are that. We are all that. The living Spirit is here and there and everywhere. It is in me, it is in all others, which means even in the hearts and minds of all American citizens and more. I accept my divine union with all. I know that God is the all and only good, and I know that the all is wholeness. The all is wholeness. So I declare for me, I also declare for others, that goodness is our birthright, and each and all of us is divinely guided on Election Day to cast votes in such a way that the highest and greatest good of the United States of America will be served. When I see our wonderful country, I see truth. When I see our politicians, I see the face of God shining back to me. I see love. I see wholeness. I am grateful to remember this truth. Where there is God, all is perfect and whole. All apparent pieces move into peace. The deep silence of peace. I look upward and I speak the word aloud. Wholeness. I look at everyone and everywhere and I say without hesitation, wholeness. So I affirm our government is functioning in wholeness. And in this knowing, I accept freedom from fear and step into the fullness of love for all humankind and beyond. I step into the fullness of love for all humankind. So as we sit here, we remember this truth. And as we go about our day and we see things that could help us step out of that truth, we now know it's time to step back. Something on the news, something that a friend says, something that could maybe push a button. We observe it and we remember. Perfect, whole, and complete. All aspects of ourselves, of our friends, all aspects of the world. So bring your hand to heart center. And just sit in that knowing that truth is ever present. And affirm right here and now to take that stand for truth. No matter the appearances. Because we know perfect, whole, complete, omnipresent love. I take this stand to see the truth in all. And slowly bring yourselves back into this space. Thank yourself for being open to this wonderful experience, this guidance. And when you are ready, when you've moved around a little bit, ready to come back into this space together, open your eyes. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Susan. We have our inner work cut out for us, don't we? On this spiritual path. I'm so proud of everybody that's so committed to their spiritual evolution. It really matters right now, right? So, thank you so much, Susan. So, did anybody have a challenge with parking this morning? Yeah, so just a reminder, there's parking across the street, but because they're doing a collective service, moving it around Mendham, it was here today at 10 o'clock instead of 9:30. But there's parking over there. There's parking at the community center if there's no event. There's parking across the street at the firehouse. So there's always plenty of parking, not just across the street, just a reminder. You might need an umbrella or walk a little further, but there's lots of parking in this area, so you'll be all right next time. Okay, let's have our time of gratitude. Gratitude for each other, for this community, for this center, for the teaching, and for the legacy that we are creating together. So we'll pass around the basket if you're giving today, or if you're giving physically like that. And while it's going around, and before I do the affirmation, I want to remind you that next Sunday, there's a community meeting that Reverend Janice is facilitating, and it's about the changes that we're going through in the future of this center. 6 months from today will be my last Sunday here. And so you all get to be part of what's next. And considering the work we did today, we get to be part of creating the system and shifting it, or we get to be part of the challenge. So my hope is that all of you take the love for this teaching and this center into its next chapter. I'm doing really well, so don't worry about me. Somebody said they're worried about me. Please stop it. Don't be codependent. I'm fine. I know what I'm doing. I have 3 prayer partners, and I've done a lot of spiritual work to arrive at that decision, and I'm good. Support each other.
It's a potluck.
Oh yeah, Sunday, so it's a potluck on Sunday, and then Reverend Janice will facilitate the meeting. It's at 1 p.m. I already mentioned my book study. Kat is doing another sound bath on September 22nd from 1 to 2:15. Please sign up. Reverend Janice is starting an awesome class in October, and it goes through March 12th, which is really powerful because it's part of this shift that's taking place. And I'm doing a free discovery class for anyone interested in membership.
regarding next week, will that be available remotely?
Yes, if you want to be on Zoom, we have a Zoom link for you, so we'll talk. So yes, that starts at 1 o'clock. And today, Laurie is doing the Treatment Express. Thank you so much for being here with Rena, bringing Rena as our guest. So let's repeat after me. Today, I'm deeply grateful for the opportunity to be open, receptive, free, and whole. That's my contribution to the world. And I'm grateful. And I hold my heart of compassion wide open. For myself. And all others. And so it is. All right. So, Rhonda. Oh, I knew I forgot something. New Science of My magazine is here. Woo, 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 woo. September, October. This is one of Rhonda's own.
Yeah.
I am whole. This I know. I am whole. This I know. I am healthy, I am whole. I am worthy and complete. When I open up my eyes, I let spirit guide my feet. When I move throughout my day, I bless all who I may meet. When I lay back down to rest, I let go for peaceful sleep. I am whole. This I know. I am whole. This I know. I am safe and I am whole. This is the truth I know. When I open up my heart, I let spirit guide my flow. As I go throughout my day, I count the blessings as I go. When I lay back down to rest, I say thanks and it is so. I am whole. This I know. I am whole. Oh yes, I am. This I know. I am whole.
Closing treatment now. I forgot.
I'm curious where Rena put the handouts.
in the back on the
Okay.
table.
Oh, pick
Just
them
wanted
up.
to make sure,
see?
well, not now, but
Oh,
I just didn't know where they were, and I have to share with you that Rena and I took 3 wrong turns getting here today.
yes! They were perfect terms.
And wrong, yeah. Anyway, so we were late, but it seems to be that my day is a little disheveled. And I don't want to affirm that, but
But
I did have to go and
Beauty
treat.
in the brokenness.
Yeah, I know. I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much because I have to sit when I get home and go, I'm curious. But I'm not curious about one thing. I love being here. I love all of you. This congregation is so beautiful and so blessed to all be together. And I enjoy seeing how everybody chips in and volunteers. And it's just a joy to watch. So thank you for the privilege that I can be here.
you today.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we will close with a closing treatment. Let's find that space. Oh, that wonderful space of breath, and we get to do this yummy, juicy time together, this treatment of knowing truth and gratitude. So as I speak these words for each one here and for the world, I know the truth. The truth is there is one life. And that life is the divine, that life is spirit, that life is God. And each one here is one with that one life. It is their birthright to feel that wholeness, to experience all of the blessed divine qualities, to sit in this space of peace that passeth all understandings, to feel that exuberance, that joy, that love, to let the light shine, to feel the harmony of being, and to breathe that breath of God, that breath of goodness with a capital G, and to move forward from this space in faith and confidence and trust. It is a gift, it is a blessing. 2 or more gathered in its name to do the healing work, to be whole together and to express that wholeness outward wherever each one goes. Gift, it's a gift. It's a yummy, juicy gift. It is the life delicious. And so with gratitude, I know each one here has received exactly the perfect thing to receive today, and each one moves forward and outward into their day, into their week, and sees all the blessings, all the wonderful blessings that is their life experienced. With deep gratitude, I hold this space. I know this is true. And I release these words, and we all say together with zest,
And so it is.